I seen this, and it got me thinking. It got me thinking quite a lot. I was like, you know, there is a point to this, but also they may have missed a few points. I don't know who this person is. I don't know who Angela Marie is. Excuse me, I haven't done that for a while. You know, it's been shared. Obviously, you know, it's got 7.1k shares. You know, 2.7k likes and reactions and whatever Facebook reactions are. They're all still called likes, but you still get like angry faces and fucking, you know, they just refuse to put a dislike function on it, because that wouldn't. It's interesting how YouTube is the only thing that has like a negative as a negative click. So you can obviously comments on negative enough as it is. But she says, what if I told you that almost nobody cares about Baby It's Cold Outside? What if I also told you that almost nobody thinks Santa should be gender neutral? What if I told you the war on Christmas is fake and no one cares that you say Merry Christmas? Because that's the truth. The outrage to these dumbass fake news, you know that term, right? Articles you've read somewhere on Facebook is 1,000,000 times bigger than the little blip of nonsense you read somewhere. No one's mad. Conservative outlets want you to believe that this nonsense is what being progressive means. It's not. You're eating the bullshit. Now, what I like to do is always reference all sides, because I have no side. I am fucking one-dimensional. No, I'm joking, obviously. Look at me. I'm 7D. You need to, first of all, acknowledge that yes, conservative outlets will have you believe a lot of this stuff. Of course they will. That's how they make. It's all about clicks these days, baby. Of course they do. As with a couple of streams ago, you know, looking at that Christina Wong's woke school or whatever the fuck it was. You know, it's like it's so little people watch it. So you know, it's like she's got so little subscribers, but big mainstream, you know, big channels on YouTube commentators who are probably, you know, to the anti-SJW side of things, obviously picked up on it because that's the kind of content that they love. It's outrage culture. It's going to piss off. It's going to piss them off. It's going to piss off the supporters, and they want to see them just lay into it. And therefore, something very niche becomes very vocal. But fake news is constantly perpetuated by left-wing media, way more so than ever before. It's weird because, like, back in the day, you know, obviously I'm British. Like, I never had Fox News pumped into my brain 24/7. But you know, Fox News would have been an example of like hyperbolic, with a lot of slants on news and misinterpreting facts, and you know, obviously the Daily Mail and the Sun, notorious for misrepresentation and bending facts and inaccurate reporting, you know, just to get people riled up. All right-wing outlets. But left-wing outlets now, mainly because a lot of online journalism is left-wing, and also because the popular thing to do with these companies was to promote, you know, progressive ideology, because that's what millennials like, and millennials are apparently the ones that click. So therefore, that's the target market. A lot of these companies are owned by all kinds of people. Some of them aren't socialists. Some of them probably fucking. Some of them probably support Britain first, for all I fucking know. You know, it's just about the money. It's what does the consumer want? What does the consumer want? You know. Believe it or not, there's many executives of companies that don't like the product and don't like the people that buy the product, but they really do like the money. You know, that's kind of a key thing here. So you do get this heavy percentage of left-wing fact twisters, because most of these outlets are, and they're all dying on their ass, and they need the clicks, so they will go after right-wing stuff. So you need to acknowledge that when it comes to fake news, when it comes to twisted narratives. And another thing that this lady, she has made a point though. The good point is that the war on Christmas is fake. It's just, it's been like this for a very long time. I don't know why, it doesn't really need to be said, like, the whole war on Christmas, for fucking decades, I swear, it's been like, oh, local council says you can't put up a fucking Christmas tree now because it'll offend other people. Some of this stuff has happened, though. I mean, there is no smoke without fire. It has happened. But usually it's councils. I would argue it's probably councils thinking that was the thing. Because, you know, there's a hell of a lot of people in charge that are completely out of touch with what people think. You know what I mean? They're completely removed from reality. That's what happens. So they probably think that let's just throw Bradford under the bus. I don't know nothing about Bradford really. I know Bradford's got a really high Muslim population, right? Let's say that Bradford Council in the 80s, when it wasn't so heavy on the Muslim population, they were like, oh yeah, Christmas. And then when it became more Muslim, Bradford Council were like, oh, but they don't celebrate Christmas. Isn't this going to be, pissing them off a bit? The majority of our constituency are Muslim, so maybe we should tone down the Christmas stuff because we don't want to piss them off. And then they probably did. I can totally see that. This is just a theory. I haven't looked into it, but this is a theory. I mean, I can see that happening. That's just, people do get like that. It's like if you invite a Jew round, you're going to hide your copy of Mein Kampf. I mean, why have you got a copy of Mein Kampf? Probably because it's interesting. Doesn't necessarily mean you're a Nazi. Although I have been around someone's house and they had a copy of Mein Kampf, and I definitely did rip it into them for being a Nazi. Obviously, because that's what you do. It was signed as well. That's probably worth quite a lot. But, people who collect that kind of memorabilia a bit, I don't know, If you buy Charles Manson's paintings, it's like, why are you doing that? So the war on Christmas is an old dead thing. It's like, it does something people like to share around on Facebook every Christmas. Don't let him take our Christmas. It's a classic, you know what I mean? Oh, we love bacon at Christmas. Fuck off home. That's an old one. That's an old one. So what if I also told you that almost nobody thinks Santa should be gender neutral? Sure, that's probably happened somewhere unheard. But the baby it's cold outside thing, and she's right. Yes, nobody probably cares about baby it's cold outside. But does that mean that there's not a huge pressure from these progressive voices that makes this stuff happen? Because I think that's the point she's missing. Yes, majority of the country don't fucking care. Majority of the world don't fucking care. I don't care. She probably doesn't care. No one cares. No one cares. Everyone's like, what? Why? But it's a thing. That's the problem. It's a thing. It's a very vocal minority. Which is right. So conservative outlets want you to believe this nonsense is what being progressive means. Yeah, and I totally agree with that. Being progressive doesn't necessarily mean being a complete, just being part of an outrage mob. It's not very progressive. I mean, the word progressive in itself, being progressive shouldn't turn you into a 1950s housewife or minister. You know what I mean? Like a 1950s vicar going, oh, we need to burn the works of Elvis. He's the work of the devil. Because that's kind of that's the mentality that they got. They are very much like that. They're like the town it's literally like the people on Twitter are like the fucking town in Footloose. Isn't it? That's what they're like. These prudish, crazy fucks. But the problem is, and the problem that she's missing here, is that this very small vocal minority is getting listened to way too much. Now, my next podcast, I don't know, I've only done 2 episodes where it's just me talking. I don't do any videos of it. It's just me talking. just deep diving into subjects, just opening up my brain like a can of intellectual soup. And you can find that on the Knowledge and Ignorance YouTube channel. That's the only place where it is. Currently, I am going to put out the audio versions for people to download once people give a shit about what I do. Now, but the next subject will be about Twitter and outrage culture, because it's very important, and outrage marketing is something even I forget about. Like, I'm clued up on this stuff. I've read a lot of literature on marketing and psychology, and it all comes back to the same thing, especially about outrage marketing. And then when you constantly see stuff, because you get lost in the swamp of information, the barrage of fucking videos and tweets and whatever the fuck it is they're throwing in your face, I forget, like, live in the outrage culture. That's the algorithms favor outrage, but apparently the algorithms might be changing on Facebook and YouTube and the likes, which is a good thing, because if they can change the algorithm so you're not constantly being pumped full of stuff that makes you angry, that will be very good for everybody. A hell of it for everybody. It cannot be a bad thing. I'm telling you, it cannot be a bad thing, because people only use this outrage stuff in certain ways. No one's getting outraged over the real shit. The real shit, man. The real shit, dog. But yes, conservative outlets would like you to believe this nonsense is what being progressive is, but also the people that think they're progressive are the people doing this stuff as well. And let's not forget that, let's think about one of the biggest progressive media networks on YouTube. I guess it's probably the Young Turks. They're not going under, unlike other outlets that turn progressive to get that kind of audience and have just dying on their ass. What is this aircon on? Fucking superheat? Right. But the Young Turks always push a very twisted narrative, as do any partisan type organisations. They've really fallen off. They push a lot of nonsense as well. Let's not forget that. And they are probably true progressives, but they do push nonsense that rubs people up the wrong way, and a lot of people have sort of abandoned being supporters of them because of this kind of thing. But yes, it is a minority, but it's a powerful minority. It is like the Ba'ath Party in Iraq under Saddam Hussein. Sunni Muslims are like 20%. I think it's 20%. It might even be 10%. It was 10 to 20% of the Iraqi population were in charge of the rest of it. The rest was Shiite, and then you got a few Christians mobbing around. And they had all the power. They were the strong minority, beating people down with an iron fist. So they're saying this is like, nobody cares, baby, it's cold outside. Yes, nobody cares. But enough cared to make shit happen. And that is the point you have missed, my dear. Because if you think conservative media is portraying you in this light, like as you say you are a progressive, I'm assuming you're saying you're a progressive, and you think conservative media are portraying you in this light because of a certain group of people under the banner of being progressive have spoiled it for the rest of you, then it's them you should be calling out as well. Let's not forget this. Even Tommy Robinson, well, he claimed he left the EDL. We don't really know if he did. you know, he left when he made the big announcement. He left the EDLs because there was, you know, extremist Nazi factions coming into the EDL, and he didn't like it. Even he called out his own thing. Can you not do the same thing? Be as noble as him? How much does that wind you up, bitch? But the problem is, it started. I think it's the ban on this started off in Canada, and now it's spread. So let's go through it. So we've got Neuro News. This is the only one I clicked on earlier. I just wanted to go through a few of them just to get a lay of the land of what's really going on. So the song "Baby It's Cold Outside" has been banned by radio stations in the US and Canada. So it started in Canada and spread to the US. It's very short, okay. Now the Independent, that glowing bastion of good stuff. Baby It's Cold Outside. What did the Independent have to say on it? They're a very left-wing organisation. Baby It's Cold Outside It is not an ode to rape. Banning it is stupid by Lucy Jones. Oh, they've got a reasonable voice on here. Maybe the Independent aren't worse than the Guardian. Baby It's Cold Outside has been recorded so many times since 1944 that you can work out someone's age by which version comes to mind. They were probably in their early teens at the time. Oh shit. When that Tom Jones version come out, then I don't want to feel too old. Ooh. Don't say stuff like that. But the song is no longer simply a beloved wintry ditty that's been recorded by scores of different artists. Every year there's a bit of a hoo-ha about the lyrical content. But this year, hashtag Me Too has become a new battleground in the culture wars. Now, what I haven't really established is who called for this to be banned in the first place. So it has become a new battle. Call that it is an ode to rape or a hymn to rape have led to numerous broadcasters in Canada, so that's Rogers, Bell Media and the CBC, banning it from the radio in retaliation to the ban, or perhaps because of the song is in the news. Sales have rocketed by 70%. Try sound effect, bitch. And the Dean Martin version is currently number 10 on the Billboard digital sales charts. Oh my lord. Come on, this is what we should do for Snapdog. Damn it. This week, William Shatner exhorted his Twitter followers to call CBC, the Canadian radio network, to request the song and sock it to the myopic censorship club. Good on Captain Kirk. Susan Losa, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, daughter of songwriter Frank Losa, wrote Guys and Dolls. I can't. Weighed in blaming the whole furore on Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby ruined it for everybody. You can't just blame Bill Cosby. It's not just Bill Cosby. Didn't the Me Too thing start after Weinstein? He was the real. There was no like Me Too thing. Bill Cosby thing come out. There was no Me Too. I swear it wasn't Harvey Weinstein. That was. Oh well. So yeah. I mean, look. It's been banned in Canada and the USA. They're saying no one cares. But why did she say no one cares? No one cares about the song. Well, enough people do that major corporations have banned it. You say no one cares, and you're right, no one does care. But too many important people care, and that's the point. That's the issue. Look what happened. What's that woman called? Megyn Kelly. Dressing up as fucking Diana Ross gets sacked. Although I've seen that apparently like they were just waiting for an excuse to sack her because people didn't like her or something. But you don't know this shit. But come on, like, and again, probably no one cares. But enough people cared, and that's part of the problem. This is in the Star. Is this the Daily Star or a different Star? It's a .com, so this is some other Star I am not familiar with. The Star. If you know about the Star and say, why the hell are you clicking on this piece of shit? I apologise. Or if it is good, whatever. I'm still not over the beating I took for linking comedian Aziz Ansari's alleged attempts to badger an uncorrupted date for sex to a larger culture of toxic masculinity. I'm still not over the beating I took for linking comedian Aziz Ansari's alleged... God, so you're a twat as well. Aziz Ansari, God, he got thrown under the bus big time, innit? Aziz was ambushed by an entitled snowflake crowd, the grumpy traditionalists on Twitter. Down with your obnoxious virtual signalling, you phony. Oh, good for them. Expect you were. And here we are again, stuck in the middle of another controversy in the sticky terrain of sexual politics. Yeah, sexual politics didn't used to be this sticky, and again, for the majority of people, it's not sticky at all. This, of course, is nothing new in the 14 months since the Me Too movement kicked off. A concerted effort to shine light on sexual assault and entitlement culture that spawns it. Yes, the entitlement culture. It was inevitable that focus would shift at this time of year to Baby It's Cold Outside. Well, you've got to have something topical, something seasonal, ain't you? An age holiday chestnut about a smoochy couple bantering about whether it's time for her to go home. Yes, it's like pretty innocent, the whole thing. Is, you know. I ought to say, no, sir, she croons in the Oscar-winning duet. Oh, get on with it, would you? I know you got to fill up space, but fucking get to that point. But through the lens of 21st century social politics has been construed as an unwitting endorsement of sexual coercion and date rape. You know, why don't we just get rape me to number one for Christmas? Is it too late? What's the date? Charts come out Sunday. Yeah. Can we get Rape Me by Nirvana to number one? Is there enough? Can someone just... it's very hard with digital to buy shitloads of copies. Just go on Spotify and stream it. Like, fucking thousands. Just get every device you have and just stream it. You just get Rape Me to number one. Wouldn't that be the ultimate fuck you to everything? To have Rape Me as number one. That'd be the ultimate fuck you. Wouldn't it? Just rape me. Yeah. And so it was banned by a glut of radio stations, Canada's CBC, so the same one again, after programmers feigned a great understanding of cultural sensitivities and took decisive political correct action. Until that is the biggest blowback since the Nivea skincare campaign with the explosive tagline, "White is purity." I'm pretty sure that Nivea skin campaign was twisted somehow. I can't remember. While 6% of listeners appreciate the station's enlightened stance against rape culture, radio polls indicated that up to 94% thought they were nuts and wanted the song back on the air pronto before their heads exploded. Again, so it looks like unwittingly I figured this one out early, from what I said earlier. I thought maybe there was a Twitter hate mob after him or someone said some shit, but again it's back to my theory about local councils is correct. I think local councils ruined Christmas. They created the war on Christmas because they weren't sure if their new burgeoning, growing ethnic population of a different religion would be offended by Christmas. So these radio stations said, let's not play that song just in case. Because someone at some point just went, listen to this again, God, this could be rapey. Because you could... I remember the Tom Jones version when he's singing Keris Mafius. What a Welsh duet. And because it's Tom Jones, Tom Jones is a bit of a sex beast. And Keris, it's not Keris. Keris Mafius is a lot younger. Although she doesn't look it now after all the heroin. And there was something a little bit like, ugh. But then some girls like that. Some girls love old men. Like, seriously. I know so many girls who fucking love old men. And you know who I'm talking. If you're watching, you know exactly who I'm talking about. And it's not just you. Yeah. There's about 3 girls who are going, oh, he's talking about me. And I'm talking about all of you. That's how many of you there are. There's loads of them. Loads of fucking You love that. You love that old grey dick. You do. You do. But for me, for me being me, I was watching it when it happened. I was like, oh, baby, it's cold outside. And I was like, all right, Tommy, okay, leave it out. Hey, leave it alone a little bit, would you? Hey, all right, mate. So I could totally see how someone could be like, God, that sounds rapey as fuck. And then that's probably what it came from. And then all these executives who are completely out of touch with reality, again, just banned it outright. So that's the thing. It's the mindset. So it's not even hate. It's been pumped into our heads. It's that there's, look, 6% of people were happy with it. 94% just didn't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? And that's because there is this. Again, it's proven everything else there. There's just this little minority that just shout all the fucking time. You know what I mean? Like, I can remember I was at special needs school, right, when I was younger. And you had some nutters there. So it was mainly like dyslexic kids, but you also had like dyspraxics, dyslectivics. And dyspraxics, if you're dyspraxic, you know what I'm saying? Like, dyspraxics are a little bit off the chain. They were like, wah! Right, dyslexics were super chill, but dyspraxics, man, you got to watch out. Like, they can go off. Dyspraxic kids can go off. Like, same as autistic kids. Yeah, and I remember every Friday there was this kid, and it was a bit of a weird school. We'd go down for assembly, and then we'd have to walk all the way. The school was real spread out. It was a very small school in terms of numbers, but very large in terms of it was all spread out, And we're walking back to our form room, and this kid, and it was only on Fridays. We had assembly 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, pretty sure. But on Fridays, he just used to lose his shit, and he'd run off in front. Then he'd go into the form room, and he'd get the meter ruler sticks, and he'd just start just running around the place, just smashing the shit out of everything. Just and we just locked the door. There was the teacher. Just locked the door and just let him have it out with the room for like 10, 15 minutes. Just let him have it out, Him versus the room with a meter ruler stick, and he just smashed shit out of it. And we just there be laughing our asses off, going, "What the fuck is this kid?" I remember the first time when he done it, and we tried to like, sort of either get involved, either by stopping him or helping him smash the place up, and he wasn't having either of it. Like, it's mine to smash, That's what I'm saying. And we just let him do it, and we wouldn't be able to start class for like, be delayed by like I said, 10 to 15 minutes because of this one kid. Because he's mental. Do you know what I mean? Small minority just fucking shit up for everybody. Enough is enough. I don't think so. So we can't let some outrage mob be that mental kid on a fucking Friday decides to beat up a classroom for 10 minutes because Friday makes him, I don't know, Monday, Tuesday, happy days, Wednesday, Thursday, happy days, Friday, I'm fucked! Friday, I'm mental. No, we can't have that. Not as a society. So who else has banned this song? Has it been banned in the UK? I'm not in the UK, so I don't know. I don't think it has. That's from a while ago. There's a Tom Burgess version. So look, a Cleveland radio station. So it has been banned in America. So like I was saying, look, yeah, no one, just to bring it back to the point that woman made, the vast majority, yes, no one cares. But unfortunately, something seeped into the mainframe, and they've banned it. They've taken precautions in case there is outrage over it, which is fucking stupid. And they are stupid for doing it. And even if a small handful of people do complain, tell them to go fuck themselves. Entitlement. Oh, that's a whole heap of bullshit to get into, entitlement. You know, they just ignore them. They're doing exactly the same that the local council did, saying, "Oh, you can't put up Christmas lights. We want to be an inclusive community." Oh yeah, well fucking they can put some lights up as well, innit? So there you go. That's just what I want to make a point on, is that it's a fair enough point to saying, yes, partisan outlets on the left and the right will chew up this shit and make you believe it's way bigger than it is. But that's a good example of just fear. That's just pure fear. That's what it seems to me. That's pure fear. We are living in a weird age of fear. God, we warned about this years ago. We did, and now we're living in a new version of the age of fear. First it was Islamic fear. Well, we still do live in the Islamic age of fear. Oh, the age of fear. God damn. Sorry, I've got to add something to the diary. I need to begin the age of fear tomorrow. But it's true, so, you know, it's just the Islamic age of fear still exists. At first we were scared. We were scared of like being blown up and destroyed and so on and so forth. And now it's like that has morphed from that fear to, you know, we shouldn't offend and upset any Muslims at all. It's kind of how that's kind of grown into, like, because look, this is me, maybe it's me being cynical, or maybe it's me being fucking realistic, and I think I'm just being more realistic. I think the majority of people that have a problem with anyone commenting on Islam these days is because fear has entered their minds. It's not because they care. It's not because they care about their feelings. It's self-preservation. I guarantee it. Self-preservation. They're so scared of this irrational fear of being suicide bombed, which is it's very unlikely to get suicide bombed in Europe. Okay, you know, you need to go abroad. You need to go far away for that shit to have a real high chance of that happening. Now I know what you're saying. You know, tell that to people that go to an Ariana Grande concert, but you know that is it's fucking rare. But yet that fear is within people of all sorts of political persuasions. Some of them will march in the streets saying, "Taking our country back," and some of them who are scared will be telling everyone to go, "Shh, shh, 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 shh." No, they're all good, because they're all scared. They've all got irrational fears in their heads. That's the truth of it. All right.